I'll come back. 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 I'll come back.
Hello and welcome to the Barcast, where the bar gets lower every single week. Your bartenders for this evening are Anon Pencil.
Hey, Priest, fill in the drinking word.
I will with Enigmatic Otaku.
What's it like to pee? I've never done that before.
The person who can answer is Flammenwerfer.
Correct, and my thought on the matter is...
And my name is Flutter Priest. This week, we're actually back. Welcome to the new year, and also Priest not being able to spell the word sunset. We have a very special guest this week. We're starting off the year strong. We have someone that I've been aware of in the fandom for a good while. They've been putting in the work. They've been so active and featured several times. It's time to give this writer the credit they deserve. We have TCC56.
Yeah, and I will say in Priest's defense, I constantly have to correct myself in my stories from writing Susnet.
Susnet?
Constantly.
Do you have a name you'd prefer we call you? Do you want to be TC or CC or the Big 56?
Honestly, any of those will work. I'm still vaguely embarrassed by the name because it was a throwaway when I said, I'm just going to put together bookshelves. That doesn't really matter.
I mean,
me too.
That's fair.
Ticky Tacky it is. Your new name is Ticky Tacky.
Ticky Tacky, got it.
Ticky Tacky.
See, I don't know. I've always been used to calling you TCC, or at least like when I was like, oh my gosh, we have too many stories. I gotta find TCC. So that'll probably be what I'm used to. But anyway, for those who've never turned in before, hello and welcome in 2024, where we've almost done this stupid podcast for a decade. I don't know how to feel about that. But for those who haven't tuned in before, hello and welcome. We're streaming live on Twitch right now, and you can catch up on previous episodes on YouTube, such as John Delancey, Andrea Libman, Dusky Cat, and many, many more from the fandom. Watching the Twitch chat right now is the lovely Anon Pencil. Pencil, what are questions we don't ask our guest?
Our guest is pretty open to questions today, which means you can be obscene and gross and ask the weird shit. However, we ask that you don't ask personal questions like, where do you live? What's your full name? What's your social security number? Don't be a fucking dickwad. You understand this one. Like, this is basic shit. You guys have been here long enough. Don't be a dickwad. And if you do, I'll ban you. But for all the wonderful people in our chat room, we have a fun thing you can do, which is to play a game along with us. Priest, how's the game work?
It's true. We have a drinking game. If you hear the word sunset, or apparently if you hear a subscription ding, take a nice, healthy, respectful drink. I say healthy and respectable because we want you to drink responsibly, and we don't want to send someone to the hospital again. So if you hear us say the word sunset, like Sunset Shimmer, starting off strong, be sure to take a drink. That said, that covers the majority of it. 99% sure. So let's get into doing some actual interviewing. Oh my gosh, it's like riding a bike, except I've never learned how to ride a bike. TCC, let's start from the very top. Let's introduce you for those who are jumping onto the video and may not have known who you are. Who are you, and what do you do in the fandom?
Well, yeah, as mentioned, TCC56 is the screen name I use. Occasionally, you'll just see me go by Tempest56, T56, whatever. A bunch of different things. I'll answer to pretty much anything that involving the phrase "Hey you." So, I've been around since 2019, so I'm a relatively late joiner to the fandom. Don't have quite the level that some of the 2012s and 2013s have, but I'm reasonably productive with things. How many am I up to? 79 stories at this point. 565 followers. I do the recommends day blog where I try to spread things around a little bit. Was the second to last Royal Canterlot Library inductee. I help every year with Jingle Miss. Judged, I think, 3 contests this year. Bits and pieces like that. I'm all over the place.
Well, that's awesome, and definitely a storied and very legitimate resume. And despite being a late joiner, especially with today's numbers on views and people that are actually dedicated and sticking to the site, 569 is that right? 569.
565. I had to actually go look it up. So
Well, I will. Oh, I'm already following. Go follow him. Let's get him to 569. Funny number.
Nice. Nice.
But that's not definitely a respectful number by today's standards. So definitely nothing to slouch at.
No, and I 100% let us mobilize the Barcast at this moment in time, as we used to do in days of yore. Let's get that number to the correct funny number. Let's do it, guys. I'll post a link. Let's do the thing. It's time.
So while we're mobilizing the forces, let's get to the next question. How did you get into MLP?
Well, I actually did show up back at the very beginning when a couple of friends of mine were talking about it. I said, let's check this out. I came in, watched an episode or two, said, this is kind of neat. Took a look at the fandom at the time and said, okay, these people are goddamn crazy. I'm out of here. And I just kind of backpedaled out of the room and didn't look back for a couple of years. I actually looked back just when the announcements of season 9 were coming out. Things were saying, it's the final season. I'm like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to that. So I came back, looked around, said, oh no, this is nice. That was right around the same time a lot of my other creative pursuits kind of dried up, and I said, oh, I'm got a pretty comprehensive site. Let's look around. So I ended up just kind of falling into that, just because the other things I was doing creatively went away at right about the right time.
That's fair.
I like how you were just sitting around smoking your cop pipe and you just thought to yourself, whatever happened to that brony huddlebaloo?
Honestly, that's not too far off. So,
well, now you're here. Let's dissect the fandom a little bit. What would you consider to be your favorite part of the fandom? The online community, the fanfics themselves, convention, music, art. In short, what keeps you here?
Honestly, it's one of the questions that'll come up later. I've been through a lot of online fandoms. I've floated in and out of a whole slew of them over the years. And it's always nice to see if people talk these days about, the fandom is dying. It's so bad. Everyone's going away. And having been through a number of very dying fandoms, it's amazing the level of activity and the level of passion, the level of creativity I see around me at this point. I'm seeing there's so much stuff which has already been done, which is amazing. I'm still working my way backwards through the site, reading story after story that's like, damn, this is great stuff. Original ideas, that going through art that's been around for, a decade plus at this point. And that's just great stuff. And I'm seeing so much interesting material to work with. Not just for just viewing, but for my own creative pursuits, going, that's a great idea, I gotta do that. And just there's so much out there that I love it. Whereas opposed to some other fandoms I've been through where I go in, look around, there's 10 people left. There's not a lot there.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of truth there. At very least in the Brony fandom, we seem to kind of congealed isn't the right word, but we've been able to kind of centralize around a few central hubs. Like Equestria Daily was there for kind of directing people in the right way, but at very least for the writing component, everyone went to fanfiction. Like there is some fanfiction.net, but it's usually people that are already established there, or I don't know if there is such a thing as quote unquote having a presence on fanfiction.net. But
right. No, I get exactly what you mean, and a lot of other fandoms are much more splintered.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, has fanfiction even made any meaningful updates since I left back in like 2012?
It still looks pretty much black and white.
Like, can I like embed pictures in the main text?
I think you can.
I
doubt it.
That would be a change.
That would be a fucking improvement.
No, I remember once upon a time, like people in the the author's notes were able to like put in funny memes and stuff. I remember that specifically from like what's the Ebony Darkness Raven Way?
I talked about that Harry Potter troll
Yeah,
fic.
the vampire Harry
My
Potter gothic
Immortal?
fanfic.
My Immortal?
or-
My Immortal, yes.
Oh
called My
my
Immortal.
Oh,
god.
the classics.
Yeah, there was some
Yep.
there were some pictures in the what's it called? The author's notes.
I miss.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I miss the when that was a huge thing. I
Mhm.
miss
Remember,
those days.
people, it's My Immortal, not to be confused with Miyamoto. That's a completely different guy.
Be the change you want to see in the world, Flam. But to go back to what our guest was saying, honestly, okay. So as far as fan fiction versus fanfic, yeah, like fanfic is really centralized. We're pretty combined to one place. We know each other by name. If I see you at a con and I see your name tag, there's a chance I'll know who you are. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I know a couple people who have had fandom beefs with each other
Oh,
until
yeah.
they meet each other,
Yes.
and that changes everything.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
like that's one of the weird things about well, I shouldn't say that weird because like that's just the internet. It's like once we actually connect people with a real face and name, everything kind of changes a little bit. Either people like kind of get over it or they hate each other even more.
Yeah,
So,
you
I mean,
know,
mostly
that's
it's been
really fair.
mostly it's been the former.
What do you mean? Every single person I met loved me.
Oh, Enigma. Oh, Enigma. Next standard kind of interview question is if there's one thing that you could say to your followers or fans or even friends that you've made along the way, what would that be?
Thank you, obviously. I mean, I can't get anywhere without them out there, helping me, reading me, encouraging me to continue doing stuff. I mean, I would be creating even if I wasn't, but at the same time, it's always great to get that kind of feedback and to see
Mhm.
the support from people. Even if it's just dropping a comment or, saying hi or something like that. It's always good to see people out there and to get that interaction.
No, I think that's totally fair. Next question is a little more philosophical. My Little Pony itself as a franchise is in a very weird place. With the conclusion of Gen 4, Gen 5 never seemed to really kind of launch in the same way or really kind of take off to the point that Hasbro's even kind of began to lean back on its own laurels and bring back Twilight Sparkle, Rainbow Dash, and such for toys and marketing materials. Where do you think the series goes from here?
You mean in terms of what they're going to do or what the fandom in general is going to do? Because
What the
that's two very different things.
You know what? Take it in both directions. Don't take that too far. I know everyone's thinking
Good
it
job,
now.
Priest. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Well, no, I think what Hasbro's going to do is, yeah, they're probably going to pull back from G5. They're going to try to circle back with G4 and lean into things. But bluntly, they're not. They're honestly pretty bad at a lot of this stuff. They constantly push to create new things and interesting things and marketable stuff, and then they don't do anything with them. And that it's just the I don't even honestly. I don't know what they're going to do. They're probably going to at some point just bomb on G5 and regroup. Maybe they'll go back to G4, pull something like they did with Pony Life and do something like that. But honestly, I don't even know what they're going to do. The fandom, I just don't think we're just not going to damn well care. I've seen a lot of fandoms that haven't had new stuff in a decade, and they just do not give a damn.
It's
What
true.
they ought to do is take Misty from G4, right? And just give her own show. Money, right there.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Misty is great. Totally my new favorite.
Thank you. You said the correct thing. You know how often I hear people say the wrong thing when the answer's not Misty? It's nice to know you're a good guy.
Yeah, no, I like a lot of the others, but Misty just chef's kiss.
I do want to warn you that liking Enigma on this show is generally considered a bad move.
Yeah, like if you like him and talk to him, he thinks he's people. So
let's let's do our last standard interview question before we throw you to the wolves. Last but certainly not least, who is the best pony?
Oh, Sunset Shimmer. Best pony, best human. Yeah. Said that in my RCL interview too, so I can hold to it.
Absolutely
drinking
a great
begins.
choice. Absolutely a great choice. I'm gonna sip my LaCroix and vodka, and let's move on to the thread. Alex underscore is up for. No, actually, we have the question from the thread. Pencil, do you want to take that? Not the thread.
Sure.
From the chat.
We have a very important question from chat for you. Alex underscore would like to know, what are the dimensions of the genital?
Enough.
Base. Actually based.
Actually based.
Correct answer. Factually correct answer. There you go.
All right. Alex underscore is up first in the thread, who starts with hi. What the flip is up, man?
I don't know. I'm just doing this thing here. Obviously, you can see what's up.
Just thinking about you, that's all.
Just thinking about you, babe. Not much. What's to you?
Number 2, what'd you get for Christmas?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I did get some nice new hand knit socks though. My wife actually knits as a hobby, and she got me a whole set of nice warm wool socks that she hand
Yo.
knit. So
That's
always
Yo.
nice.
There is something very real about being an adult and getting socks on Christmas and being unironically happy about it.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yes.
weird as hell. It's weird as
I
hell,
love
but
it.
it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being a kid, any sort of clothing is like, why? Why did you do this?
No, nowadays, absolutely. Nowadays, it's like, holy shit, yeah, this'll look great in my wardrobe. I'm gonna look fresh as hell in this.
All I wanted was a goddamn Robo-Raptor. How hard was it to get that?
Number 3, what were your New Year's resolutions?
I have actually never made a New Year's resolution because I know I'm not going to stick to the damn things.
That's a great resolution to not make.
Yeah, there you go.
resolutions.
That's a resolution right there.
So I'll tackle this in a different direction. Do you have any projects you want to tackle this year?
I have quite a lot of projects. It's, again, one of the questions later on is going to be asking. I post a quarterly blog just showing what the status of my currently active stuff is. And I think the last one had like 15 stories that I'm currently working on. So,
Oh my God.
No.
I'm got a lot of things to go through.
Okay. Well, that said, what is the project that has been on hiatus for the longest?
None, actually. I don't have anything that's on a hiatus anymore. I had one that was sitting for the longest time. I finally finished it last year. I don't have any. The only things I've currently got incomplete are the one active long-term one that I'm doing posts on every month, and I think the one that's just the archive for me doing the Flash 150 challenges. So
That's not bad at all. Good job. Number 4 is, have you ever been naked before?
a few times, yes.
Just a
Yes.
few. Was it when you were a baby? Like, now that you're an adult, are you ever naked?
Well, I mean, I gotta take a shower eventually.
Oh, come on.
You
TMI.
shower naked? You
TMI.
shower naked? What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm a complete pervert. Yep.
Look, you know what's funny is that I envisioned that sentence going differently and thought you're gonna be like, yeah, I've taken a shit before, and I'm like, true, man, true. Why do they
Just
call it the
getting
rest?
naked to shit.
Look,
Well, I mean,
why
I
do
was
they call
tempted
it? Why do they call it the restroom? I'm fighting for my life in here.
I was
Goddamn.
tempted to say I am right now, but I'm like, no, my chair is leather. That would be a terrible life choice.
Trying to stand up and hearing the sound that Velcro makes when you unstick it, when your body just
Yeah.
tries to contain itself to the leather.
Oh, no, yeah, no.
Or worse, you leave like an ass print sweat stain.
No.
Ugh.
You're bringing back some terrible sleepover memories.
You're
at some
reminding
friends'
me of like
houses.
the Craigslist that is like for sale desk chair has slight odor. It's like nope.
Nope.
Worth
No.
For sale office chair, lightly shat.
Oh, number 5. We're moving on from that to, what is your
No-
favorite
no low
sandwich
balls.
feeling? What is your favorite sandwich filling?
Oh, I'm absolutely a peanut butter guy. I actually have a significant problem where if I do not have a jar of peanut butter in the house as an emergency thing for sandwiches, I actually get extremely nervous. I have gotten up in the middle of the night and gone out to the store to buy a jar of peanut butter because I was out.
We are best friends now. Is jelly totally optional?
Oh, it's absolutely optional. Sometimes you feel like it, but sometimes it's just like, nah, just give me peanut butter bread. I'm solid.
All right. What is your jelly and/or jam of choice?
Honestly, red.
Red.
Red is not a flavor of jam or jelly.
Yeah, it can be. It can be.
It is a feeling, Pencil.
I know, but like as a flavor, are we talking strawberry? Are we talking like mixed berry? Are we talking cherry? There's there are
Honestly,
options here.
if I gotta
Yes.
pick one, I'm going cranberry if I can.
Yes.
Not the direction I thought you would go. That's an interesting choice. Good for you.
I am partial to basic bitch strawberry.
This is my favorite guest of the year.
I'm the first guest of the year.
It's like,
Oh
I'll
my
take,
fuck.
I'll take the bar's low, but I will take it.
Oh my fuck. Good job.
The bar has
Beautiful.
never been
If-
lower.
if we asked him what his favorite ketchup was, and he said the green Heinz Shrek ketchup from early 2000s.
Yo,
Yo,
amazing.
it looked weird, but it tasted good.
No. If I was gonna do that, I was gonna mention the old purple stuff they did for a while.
Oh, that was also a thing. I remember that. Oh, it grossed my mom out. Anyway, number 6. What are your favorite types of fanfics?
Decently written.
Oof.
No, that sounds like sarcasm, but honestly, I read a lot of stuff. I enjoy a lot of stuff, and I'm good with most all of it. But the one thing that I cannot abide by is when I open up a story and the first sentence has 3 typos in it. I cannot deal with that.
How do you feel about bricks of text?
Okay, but how do you feel about intentional misspellings and errors?
Okay, intentional is perfectly fine, and there's some
Okay.
great stylistic choices you can do with that. But there are so many people where I open it up, I'm like, nope, I cannot continue to read this. This needs a spell checker.
Got it.
I find it so difficult to accept typos in given day and age when Google Docs is free for everyone.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
its spell check is even decently good, so it's like,
The worst thing that can happen is that it spell checks it to the wrong word.
Exactly, and that's fine. And that's fine. Mistakes happen. We're all human, but there's a certain amount of just not showing you give a damn about your craft when things.
Yes.
my favorite thing about Google Docs spell check is that it'll occasionally say, "Hey, this word is spelled wrong," and it's a very common word that totally exists, and it acts like that word doesn't exist. And it's like, "Would you like to add it to your dictionary? The word rot." Yeah, well, yes, I would like to add that to my dictionary. Thank you. That's my favorite thing. It's like, wow, I didn't know that word didn't exist.
Chat's bringing up the point of like drunken speak or like accents where you purposely mistype like I'm for like a southern drawl, and I don't know. I there's a certain point where that goes too far too.
Yeah,
There's
no, there's a little bit a little bit you can do work with, but a little bit goes a long way.
Absolutely, and that's actually a philosophical thing on its own. Like, some people are of the opinion that if, as long as you are aware, people describe what the accent is, you just type it normally, and that usually get the reader's imagination will do the rest. But I'm of the opinion you can do a little bit. If you do too much, it just sounds like you're taking the piss, and which can be fucking funny. But at some point, it's just grating to read.
I'm moving to the next question. RK Striker JK5 is up next. Number 1. What is your favorite non-MLP franchise?
So if I had to name one, I'm actually a huge Metroid fan.
Yo!
Uh-oh.
My wife
Flam
actually
has
joked that
entered the
Samus
chat.
Aran was my first love, and I can't deny it's something I still enjoy. I mean, I've been playing those games for a very long time. I reflexively buy a new one when it comes out. I'm still mad at Nintendo. Where is my goddamn Prime 4?
Hey, be happy about it. They knew it was shit at first, so they restarted development, brought in Retro Studios, and now it looks like everything's done. They're just finalizing shit.
And I will forgive them the moment they actually like give me a proper updated trailer.
Dude, I'm taking work off the day it's released. Like, I'm taking that day off. No,
If-
my girlfriend will not hear a single word out of me that day.
I was gonna say, if I had to name another one, I'm actually an old BattleTech nerd as well. I've been playing since about 1988 or so. So
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, I have a friend right now that is like they're sad because they don't have anyone to talk to about the new squadron that they've built and they're so proud of in BattleTech, and they have a group they meet up on like Sundays. Oh,
well, to put that part in perspective, if you actually see my icon, that is actually the logo for the unit in BattleTech that I've been playing for the last 30 years. So
oh my gosh, that's
Amazing.
cool. I'll have to.
Okay.
Go
Go
ahead.
on. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that I need to at fisting stick so they can see your what's it called, your profile picture. But please
And-
go
and
on, Pencil.
yeah, I was gonna say, and I'm betting they won't recognize it because it is an obscure as hell unit. So
That's fair.
An absolute unit. Anyway, I was going to ask a very important question.
Mhm.
Just say it loud and proud and clear for everyone. How do you say the name of the main character in Metroid?
Samus Aran.
If it's anything other than Samus Aran or Aaron, I'll accept it. You're
Yeah,
wrong.
I've heard Aran and Aaron both ways. I can never.
I-
I just go with the first one, but
Yeah, I accept both of them.
But the first name.
I thought their name was Mr. Metroid.
No.
Yeah,
What's the first name?
Samus.
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 Not the way Super Smash Bros. Melee says it. No siree.
Samus.
It's great. I will kill you. It is that simple.
Okay.
Isn't it
no,
Seamus?
It's not
fun
Seamus. It is not
it-
Seamus.
Fun fact, it is that I actually looked up the name Samus, and it is exactly an obscure female version of Seamus.
I'm not surprised that it's Gaelic based, frankly.
Yeah, I was actually curious where they came up with that, and they said, nope, it is indeed a female form of Seamus. It's just very obscure.
Any fool.
Speaking of shame, how forgivable is Metroid Other M, TCC?
I've never heard of it.
Oh.
There's no such game. I've never
Oh,
heard of it.
Okay.
For I looked at you once in my eyes and knew that you were my brother. In all realism and joking aside, no, it just serves as a basic bridge between Super Metroid and Fusion. That's all, no more, no less.
Yeah, honestly, it's just I did buy it. I did play it. It just wasn't very good or particularly interesting.
So its biggest sin was it wasn't the other games, is what I'm hearing.
Samus, I know there are a lot of these missiles.
No,
There are a
it's
lot of
because
things wrong with it, but
yeah. If I remember correctly, because I did play a bit, because I had a friend who bought it. Wii controls aside, I can never get used to that. And fun fact, I just beat Metroid Prime 3 for the first time through Prime Hack on the computer. But it played fine. The mechanics seems totally fine, but the story narrative around it didn't make sense. Her characterization was akin to assassination, among other things. But that's a whole.
Samus, I now grant you the ability to roll into a ball.
Literally, though, do not fucking talk to me. Do not refer to me. I have no pronouns at this point.
Do not perceive me. By the way, I regret to inform everyone that Tiki Taki, you have too many followers for funny number. You have 571 now.
ah, damn.
Damn.
Too far. You moved him too far.
The assignment was misunderstood in the correct way.
Anyway, more questions.
I'm just shocked that they haven't taken, like, they remastered or retextured all the Metroid Prime 1 through 3 on Wii U and haven't re-released it on Switch. Genuinely frustrated about that.
I'm fine with it because I still have my Wii. So
That's fair.
Exactly, and with Prime Remastered coming out on the Switch and playing magnificently, the others are not far behind. And even if they aren't, I have Prime Hack to get me by, and playing Metroid on a mouse and keyboard, let me just tell you, it is a very surreal experience.
In a good way?
A very good way.
I've never actually bothered to try emulating it.
Yeah, Prime Hack is it's its own forked version of Dolphin Emulator. It's specifically for the Metroid series. Yeah, you just set it up. You get the you acquire quote unquote the ROM, totally legally,
Totally
of
legally. Yeah,
course,
no, totally
and
legally.
you just drop it in a folder and have it point to it, and it loads right up. You can totally keybind everything in Prime Hack.
Interesting.
It's built to work with a mouse and keyboard. Not many changes needed to be made. Just make some graphical changes for your computer or some sensitivity stuff, and you just go. It's the original graphics too, and it plays perfectly. I found no. I cannot recall any bad artifacting or anything like that. It was completely and utterly perfectly, and playing it on 4K resolution, man, like I said, it was a very lovely time.
Damn, I'm gonna have to. That's gonna eat up a lot of time for me then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
now I know exactly what I'm doing for the rest of my night
Yeah,
now.
let me
Dang
know
it.
let me know if y'all need help. I'm happy to help with that. It's one of the first things I always put on a new system.
Speaking of help, have you done any fan-related content, TCC, for a non-MLP franchise?
Oh, tons. So I kind of alluded to before, but I've been circulating around internet fandoms before most of the people listening here probably were born. I mean, I cut my teeth on Usenet back in the day. Alt Devil Bunnies, Rec Games Mecha, Rec Arts Anime Moderated, that sort of thing. I've been around for a very long time and orbiting through a bunch of different fandoms. More recently, it's things like I've done Transformers, I've done the Mega Man fandoms. I was actually probably the biggest footprint I had was that I was actually a major part of Returner Games and the release of the third edition of the Final Fantasy RPG in 2013. So I've got a lot of stuff out there, but the thing is also I subbed names fairly frequently and things, and honestly, a lot of the stuff I've done is just kind of gone by the wayside and drifted off into the ether of the internet.
You know, not all of us are babies. Some of us have been around the block a few times. Just saying. As the literal oldest person in this group.
Back in
I gotta
my
say-
day, we used to call porn fix lemons.
Back in my day, ARPANET. So, yes, okay, you and I are of similar age. You understood that joke. Excellent.
Yeah, and I know exactly what lemons are. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is very different than Lemon Party children. Please know
let's-
that.
oh my goodness. Okay.
Don't look up Lemon Party. Don't look up Lemon Party. That was way too long a pause.
don't.
Look,
That was way
I
too
do-
long a
I-
pause.
I'm
Please
not
don't.
looking
Please
it
don't.
up. I've already fallen for it a decade ago.
I do
Let's-
love how that makes a resurgence here and there. I remember my last year of campus, like a month before we left, and it was election year, and people were like, "There's a third option, lemonparty.org," and I'm like, "Oh my god,
No.
beautiful!" I'm like, "This is beautiful. I'm gonna miss this place."
To quote the Joker from Batman 1989, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
No, because I actually can't dance worth a damn. When I do it, I'm compared to the gopher from Caddyshack. It kind of just little slow wiggle from side to side. I'm terrible at dancing.
Well,
All right. Posh is now up next, and I think I have had a stroke.
Well,
Yeah, no, that's posh.
Priesty Pie, there's actually a question from the chat.
Oh, do you want me to do it, or would you like?
Please do.
Okay. Question for the guest: Steiner or Davion?
Oh, Davian, straight up. I've been, like I mentioned, that emblem's for First Chisholm's Raiders. So no, I've been Davian since the '80s.
Ooh, nice. All right, I'm gonna get through reading this aloud.
have fun.
Thank you, Posh. I miss you. Will you please talking about Diz Pamps especially? Do I keep going or do I pause for commentary?
Oh no, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. Diz Pamps Diz Pamps are that Discord where the Diz Pamps and when Discord use them, it make the Diz Pamps or poofing and more poof and thicker and when and pony Try to wearing Discord dispamps, the pony will get hypnotized, and if and pony wets on Discory dispamps, the dispamps will get more poofing and poofy and more poof and thicker as well too. It any pony would wear them for even Discord will turn ponies into padded plush dolls as well too.
A great writer
this
has
is a
been
diaper
born.
fetish. This is a diaper fetish, right? Am I reading between the lines correctly that this is
yeah,
about
yeah.
diaper fetish?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure I was still like with the times, understanding that Gen Z lingo and shit.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ. Well, 1, ew. 2, speaking the language of gods. 3, skibbity toilet. 4, your mom.
You forgot
done.
Phantom Tax.
You're so skibbity.
You're so Phantom Tax.
All right. I have gotten done banning someone in chat. Oh, Nyla is up next. Nalia? Nyla.
I
You've never said it
always pronounce
correctly.
I always pronounce it the wrong way too, and I feel terrible because she has explicitly told me how to say it correctly, and I always mess it up.
Yep.
If you are in chat, and I believe I'm not sure if it's Nyla or Nayla. If you are in chat, please correct us. Oh my fucking
It's
god.
Naila. It's Naila.
Naila.
Yeah, I press X to doubt, but you know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Number 1, how do you do your research for writing when connecting earlier seasons with later ones?
So I would like to say here that I do regular wiki dives and I rewatch episodes and I image search to find exactly what I'm looking for. And while I do those, honestly, I just have a really good memory for obscure trivia. I just remember lots of little random factoids, and I've got kind of part of that Jeopardy part of my brain.
This is the way.
Yeah, I half the time I don't research stuff unless I'm looking for a specific thing of verifying this one item. It just sticks in my brain for the stupidest reasons.
What was
Also
the
be-
name? What was the name of the car that Krusty the Clown endorsed?
What the fuck are you? What?
What are you
Okay.
talking about?
Oh, you
think
are
it's the
so
Canyonero.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
It was
he
the
does-
fucking
he does
Canyonero.
that. Yeah, he's got trivia. He's got trivia brain.
Yep,
get it, guys.
Canyonero. Yeah.
That was the one, yeah. But though, to also be fair, very rarely do you have to specify what season something is from when you're trying to form some narrative that calls to past things in the pony lore.
It's true.
True.
It's only one trying to link multiple of those, and you have to be careful. It's like, wait, which one of these came after, or which one of these were dependent on the other? Then it's just like, okay, now I actually do need to check the wiki real quick.
Yep, which I have had several stories I've needed to do that in. So.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, there is a great follow-up to that. When you do this research, how do you kind of store all your thoughts? Like, do you have a super secret, like, pony file? Do you have notebooks that you store all of your research in?
Yeah, so I used to keep more traditional ways of documenting, keep a scratch pad, write it down, have a text file for it. But I kind of got tired of having those in several different places. So about a year and a half ago, I moved it all to one big Google Doc, which is currently about 30 pages of just like 2-sentence story ideas. Plus the currently 36 in-process story documents that I'm working with.
It's not a bad way to do it. I mean, at least in my respect, if I know what I'm planning out, I just green text the whole thing right now, and I found that's actually working really well. I, for whatever reason, lost the ability to just improv everything on the fly, but maybe that's a good thing. But yeah, other than that, if it's little scratch notes or something, I just insert comments on the Google Doc or just quickly add a green text line item saying, hey, you should talk about this or you should mention this later, and come in very handy in like crossovers, like when hysterically the Metroid one I'm working right now is I've intensely had to add in lines that are like, by the way, you need to discuss this and how it relates here. It's like, okay, it's simple but it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is, if you were to put 2 of your own stories into your Recommends Day blogs, which ones would you choose and why?
It's that's a question that when I was reading this and kind of noting down what my response was going to be, but that was actually a pretty tough one. it's trimming down is hard because I love most of what I've written, but since part of the pitch of the Recommends Days series is that to bring light to underappreciated fics, I'd probably pick two of my ones that I think are really good, but they've gotten a low number of eyeballs. That would be Cleaved and Song in Silence.
All right. Well, then we'll have to make sure that we, when we release this, we'll try to add that in the descriptions. That way people can know to check those out. Also, just selfishly, what does an April Fool's Day Recommends Day blog look like?
Ooh.
I believe I did one of those one year, and I think it was just Pinkie Pie.
It was just only Pinkie Pie?
I think it was just, well, for me, thankfully, the blogs, I'm basically just pick two, so I just need to find two things that fit to a theme. So it's relatively easy that way.
See, I was sitting here thinking like you would be like, oh, I found this very little unappreciated story that I had never heard of before. I don't think anyone else has, called like Background Pony, and or this past sins thing.
Well, I mean, I did have an entire series at the end of the year 2 where I basically just said, okay, here's a bunch of things that I think are really cool that I know are not underappreciated and have, everybody's heard them, but I wouldn't feel right having a recommendation without having, these things in here.
That's fair. That's fair. Because sometimes showing in like these are the favorite like big things that people recognize, that can almost be kind of a litmus test of someone who's looking at your recommendations trying to determine whether their tastes align with yours. Which is just an interesting way to think about it. But number 3, what animes do you like, or what's your top 5?
So I'm honestly pretty old school with that, which may just be nostalgia, but that's what I grew up in. But I grew up watching the original Robotech before it even became Macross after it was properly ported over. I used to watch Slayers, Ranma, Gunsmith, Cats, that sort of thing. My wife actually introduced me to Patlabor, which when we started dating, that's also totally my jam. Most of the modern stuff just doesn't really do anything for me.
All right.
Don't go ahead.
No, I have an important... This is an important question because not a lot of people have seen or read Ranma. So, who is best waifu in Ranma?
Ukyo.
And why is it Ranma himself?
Ooh, no, that's a twist I'd never heard, actually. But no. Okiyami girl for me. Giant ass battle.
Oh, Okonomiyaki?
Oh, yeah. Which is, again, I can never pronounce it correctly. But
I learned about Okonomiyaki specifically from Ranma 1/2, so that's relevant. And I'll make it.
She's totally my vote, so.
That's fair. She will also kill you, so good luck.
Oh, they'll all kill you.
Go ahead.
Ranma won't, which is why he is best wife.
So, given when Ranma was made and in a different kind of climate now, has Ranma aged well?
Yes. Really.
There was so much enthusiasm in that answer that it clipped.
I said yes, shockingly, because I watched it probably about 5 years ago with somebody who'd never seen it before. I was shocked at how well it held up. The animation is dated, of course, but it's still really fun to watch. A lot of the humor is still there, and it's got some really impactful parts to it. And I'll let our guest disagree or agree with that.
Honestly, I can't, largely because it's been a long time since I watched it, so I'm not sure I can really say how it's aged.
I remember reading on Reddit some people like watching Ranma and having this moment going, oh my gosh, that was their inspiration to explore a trans lifestyle. So,
oh, good for them. I'm happy for them then.
Purely
Aren't they cute? They're animal crackers.
It was not that for me. It was more an introduction to like really weird. I don't even know how to explain it. Go watch Ranma 1/2. Go read Ranma 1/2. Read it, watch it, and enjoy the craziness of the gender swappery and the accidental gay. And I love it. So please.
And occasionally turning into a pig.
Oh, or a panda. Or a kitty.
Yeah, but Ryoga was much more interesting.
Ryoga, I felt bad for most of the time, but that's okay.
Speaking of feeling bad, the next question is, do you like pineapples? I must know.
And knowing who has asked the question, I'm sorry I have to answer, but no, I really don't.
Aww.
Why are you so relatable to all of us? Come on, man.
I like pineapples. Alright. Muggany is up next, and I have refreshed, and they have now posted all of their surprise questions.
Yep, there's a lot of Muggany questions, and we are ready for them.
It is time for fights, I guess. Number 1, who would win in a fight?
Not me.
Number 2, who would win in a fight?
Still not me.
Number 3 is, who would win?
Well, I can't disagree. Who probably does have a good chance of winning at this point? I mean, they've been in there 3 times.
Next question. Oh man, meta question. Who out of the 6 Barcast members would win in a fight?
I'm going to go with Enigmatic, largely because the rest of you are going to be so busy ignoring him because he's not a person. That total surprise comes out of nowhere.
No, you don't understand. If I have the opportunity to murder Death Enigma, he is my immediate target. Like, I would probably lose just because I'm targeting Enigma. So no, like, Enigma's dead first. The question is, and actually, there's a right answer to this, and I think everyone else will agree with me. And it's not me.
Flam actually lifts, and Milk is huge.
Milk would shoot us, and we'd be dead.
That's true.
This is true. This is actually true.
Milk would actually just shoot us, and we'd be dead.
Bang! That's it. Done.
Knife to a gunfight. Done. Milk wins.
Number 5. Would you fight us?
I mean, I'm presuming in this whole point that there's not a choice in the matter. If I had the choice, hell no.
Trust me, if we met at a convention, we would probably be high-fiving or hugging, not fighting. Number 6. Would you fight me, Muggany, and what weapon would you use against me?
I'm going to say no, and the weapon I would use would be being really, really far away.
That's fair. Number 7, is you got something you want to say, Punk?
Anarchy in the UK?
I've scrolled down. Oh no! Actually,
that's
a great song. Actually,
I thought it was Bravers in the UK.
What?
Huh?
Braveburn?
Yeah, there's another Ravers.
He's being stupid. Don't mind him.
No, there's another song called Ravers in the UK.
Okay, pro. Okay.
Okay.
It's not Anarchy in the UK, though.
Yeah. Number 8 is Oh Really, and number 9 is the entire Navy SEALs copy pasta. Do I have to read this?
Nah, Tasha's one was funnier.
Okay. Like, Posh's was really good. And number 10 is How Your Day.
Cold as hell.
It is cold everywhere right now, for Big Sad, except for Southern Hemisphere. Southern Hemisphere bros don't have to deal with the cold right now. Now then, up next we have Shakespearecles, who has a wonderful question. How about that Jingle Moss, eh?
It is awesome and one of my favorite times of the year. I'm always honored to be a part of it and be able to help out with things, because it's really one of the things that makes this community great. I mean, again, I've been through a lot of other fandoms, and many of them just don't have big events like that. They don't have something that people get together and kind of rally like that. So it's always great to see things. And this year was amazing to see. We had the highest turnout ever, and actually almost no failures to deliver, which was just mind blowing.
No way! No failures to deliver?
Not none, but very, very few. I think we had like 6 total out of 140 something people who entered.
That's
so it was
so good.
Yeah, no, it was stunning. I went in expecting we were going to have like 20 stories we were going to have to make up, and we barely had to do any.
Wow,
it was really
so
amazing.
Great. Like, Pencil will probably tell you, like, from afar, like, before, Petrichord and I handed it over to Shakes, like, the amount of stress that it would put, before we had the Breezy system, was immense, because the only person who was on the hook to write all these were Petrichord and I.
Nope,
And
I remember. I was actually involved in the last year you guys ran it. So
yeah, yeah. And it was just one of these things where it was like to hear it not only like go so well, but to be bigger than ever is really cool. And it's a sign that, while the numbers are down, the glue holding all of us together is tightening, and it's like we're
Mhm.
getting more surface area of people participating in this community, and that's such a great thing.
It was.
Um,
Well. I mean, one of the big things this year was the fact that so for those not involved in it, generally for Jinglemas, about one author in 10 fails to deliver and give us their story, and usually it's the newbies who are the worst. Usually, I mean, there are past years where we've had almost half of them fail. We had 8 of them this year, and only 2 bombed out, which again, that's way lower than normal.
mhm. No, that's so good. That's so awesome, and to see just, um, I don't want to say the flood because I know it's probably staggered postings now, kind of like before, but just to see the flood of Jingle Moss stories coming in every year, just is such a great feeling to see the community come around. I'll be excited for the summer where I'm sure Shakes will put together a Summer Sin celebration again.
Oh yeah.
And that usually goes pretty well as well.
Yep. Well, I mean, not get involved in Summer Sin. I always wish him luck, and I'm glad to see the responses that it gets.
Yeah, it's definitely for a different kind of crowd, and that's totally fair. Happy for them. All right. Let's see. We are a little early to do the ad read, but we got 2 memes, and I kind of love it. So we'll go to Hawthorne Bunny, who's up first. Who would win non-corporal beings edition? Also, Hawthorne Bunny, if you made these, first of all, this is awesome. I want to see questions like this every week. This is awesome. But let's see. Who would win in a fight? Or just who would win in general? Avatar of the Tree of Harmony Twilight, the Tantabus, or the Avatar of Friendship from Rainbow Rocks?
Well, the Tantabus got its ass kicked by a bunch of completely normal ponies, so that just no, not happening. Uh, Moondog, different story, but we're talking the base Tantabus here. And the Avatar of Friendship.
I just want to remind you all that the Avatar of Friendship was their stand, was their
Yeah.
music-based stand.
It's true.
Exactly. The Avatar of Friendship is reliant on the 7 to summit it up, whereas the Avatar of the Tree of Harmony is just their period, so it's got an independent existence on its own. So I think it's winning.
I think that's really fair. I'm trying to also remember what the Avatar of the Tree of Harmony actually did.
Attempted to kill the Student 6, I believe.
That sounds right.
And I remember the Klopp stories that came afterward.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised. There's a degree of where I think Tantabus has the cool factor, but I think you're right. I think Avatar of the Tree of Harmony is probably the winner here. And then we have who would win the bonus round between Avatar of the Crystal Heart, the holographic projection of Twilight Sparkle from the Unity Crystals, and the Spirit of Hearts Forming Past.
Well, one of those isn't real. The other one's a fancy answering machine. The Avatar of the Crystal Heart is probably the closest competitor, but at the same time, it's much more limited geographically and in power-wise than the Avatar of the Tree, so I still have to go with the Tree of Harmony.
One of those is an answering machine.
It's true.
I'm sorry, it's a fancy answering machine.
I remember when it was such a big deal that, Twilight's back too. But no.
Look at her face; it's so squished too.
Nope.
It's wider.
It's so concerned. Anyway, this marks our halfway point through the podcast. So with that being said, we now are going to get ready to do our ad roll. Pencil, are you around? Would you like to do the ad roll, or I'm picking a different volunteer?
So, hey, Priest.
Hey.
So, did you know that we don't just, fuck around and hang out with our handful of viewers and interview a guest?
I thought all we do is play video games now.
Yeah, all we do is play video games right now. But the other thing we do is we give money to charity.
What?
Yeah, we donate all of the money we get from viewers, either in the way of bits or through donations through our Patreon, or if you just like put dollar bills in our hot little hands. We give that money to Red Wings Horse Sanctuary in Central California. Red Wings Horse Sanctuary supports horses that have been displaced from their land, have been mistreated, can no longer be cared for, and gives them a good life with all the care that they need.
How do I get my money back?
Well, you don't get your money back. Instead, what you do is your money goes to a horse that we sponsor. His name is Lil Bit, and he's a little shit. I say that because he's lovable, he's cute, and Flam's met him, and he's a very soft boy, isn't he?
Indeed, and that is a legit name that everyone calls him because he loves to try and escape into the fields.
So if you want to help support this horse and you want to help support us, you can subscribe to us on Patreon or donate to us. And if you're really curious, there's links in the chat right now. And if you want to donate directly, that's okay too. Go to Red Wings Horse Sanctuary to learn more online.
Give us money so we can feed it to the horse.
What do you think about all that, Priest?
How do we even know this horse is real? I think we need to go see it.
I think we do need to go see the horse. That's a goal of ours. We've already interviewed the horse a little bit, we being Flam and Enigma, but we have genuine intent to go see that horse. So if you want to see us do that, let us know in the threads and in the comments.
Yes. Very exciting. Also, let me double check because I've gotten several people saying to me privately that I'm a coward for not reading the the Navy SEALs copy pasta.
Did you not? I left. Did you not read the Navy SEALs?
No, I didn't. I think I have to read it now. We'll do it for the ad read. Also, thank you Sergeant Tinman for 5 gift subs. Thank you Empty Plot Filler for the gift sub. Thank you Empty Plot Filler for the 2,000 bits. And here's your Navy SEAL copy pasta for you for the gram. What the fuck did you fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated in the top of my class in the Navy SEALs, and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda. I have over 300 confirmed kills. I'm trained in guerrilla warfare and the top sniper in the entire U.S. Armed Forces. You are nothing to me but another target. I will wipe you the fuck out with precision, the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth. Mark my fucking words. You think you can get away with saying shit to me over the internet? Think again, fucker. As we speak, I'm contacting my secret network of spies across the USA, and your IP is being traced right now, so you better prepare for the storm, maggot. The storm that wipes out the pathetic little thing you call your life. You're fucking dead, kid. I could be anywhere, anytime. I can kill you in over 700 ways, and that's just with my bare hands. Not only am I extensively trained in unarmed combat, but I have access to the entire arsenal of the United States Marine Corps, and I will use it to its full extent to wipe your miserable ass off the face of the continent, you little shit. If only you could have known what unholy retribution your clever little comment was about to bring down upon you, maybe you would have held your fucking tongue. But you couldn't. You didn't. And now you're paying the price, you goddamn idiot. I will shit fury all over you and you'll drown in it. You're fucking dead, kiddo.
What a classic. What a fucking classic. Can we hear for Priest reading out this classic?
Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the subs.
Could you repeat all that? You cut out halfway. I don't think the stream heard you.
Shut the fuck up. We're gonna go to something that's actually really great. We're gonna go to Scampy. Scampy has great questions, and Scampy is a great individual. Flam, Enigma, I have been selfish and kept all the questions for myself. Would either of you like to take them?
You know, I can do it. I'll do it for Scampy.
All right.
Scampy.
For Scampy. Fist in the air for Scampy.
For Raise. I was gonna say something else, but
For Raid Shadow
Yeah.
Legends.
yeah, our sponsor, who Scampy works for, number 1 by Scampy. Can you say hi to the Barcast people for me? I think they're all pretty swell.
Hey, Barcast people. Scampy says hello.
Oh,
Hi, Scampy.
Hi, Scampy. We miss you.
What's up, Scampy?
Number 2 by Scampy. Please provide some secret lore facts about Dexter and Martin.
So those are our 2 cats, and hold on.
Uh-oh.
Got to tend to the cats.
And I've just dropped a photo of them in the general, so.
Oh, nice.
Eee!
Let us see. Let us see, cat. Yo, those are some
Cats.
swell cats. Look at the whiskers on the one on the right. That looks that's sophisticated.
Reminiscent of Bacon with the crazy whiskers.
Absolutely.
I am a sophisticated cat, and I have lovely whiskers like this.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, he is absolutely not. So
Damn.
the one on the left, the big tank of a black cat is Martin, the older one of the two. Secret lore for him is that it is impossible to keep a collar on that little asshole. We keep trying, we try and we try, but every time we put it on there, it's off again within 3 days. We think we know how he does it, but we have yet to catch him to stop him. But every time we put a bell on him, that collar's off 3 days max. The smaller Tuxie is Dexter. He is a complete idiot. He's an adorable idiot, but he is an absolute. There is no brain cells in his head.
As tuxedo cats are often tend to be.
No, he is sweet as hell, but he is also so dumb. So for secret lore is that he is obsessed with leather. When my in-laws came over and visited just before Christmas, Dexter, while the rest of us when we had dinner, Dexter actually went into the living room, found her leather purse, and ate the handles off of it.
Oh no!
Yeah,
That's
every
no
morning
good.
when I get dressed for work, I'll put the pants on, get the leather belt out. He will run across the house, jump under the bed, and attack the belt so he can gnaw on it as I put it on.
Oh my gosh!
Obsessed is the right word then.
Oh yeah, no. He's dumb as hell, but he's sweet as hell, and yeah, no. He loves leather. Absolutely loves it.
Nice.
So what is Dexter's worst brain empty moment?
Well, I've seen him multiple times. He'll get up on the surface and he'll kind of roll around and try to get you to come over and pet him, and he will roll right off of them. He's done it. He's rolled off the bed. He's rolled off of windowsills. He's recently taken to actually crawling into the bathroom sink and laying in that because he can't roll out of it. So he'll just kind of rotate in the middle of it.
It sounds
That's
to me.
adorable.
It sounds to me like he's big of heart but dumb of ass.
A proper himbo, yes.
Extreme. Oh no, very extremely himbo.
Wonderful. Are they best friends? Do they cuddle?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. They absolutely do. They fight like crazy too, but no, they're very much a big brother and little brother kind of dynamic.
Aw, adorable.
They are. We love them.
Number 3, by Scampy. You've been doing reviews regularly for a heck of a long time now, which obviously means you're reading a bunch of... Do you have any favorite stories that stick out to you as special, even amongst all the good and great stuff you've read?
So this is another one that was really hard because the blog I do has already gone through 318 stories, and I've got a waiting list of more than 1,000 I can pull from. Like I could do this daily for 3 years and still not run out. I could talk for so many hours on just naming stories that are great and gushing about them, which again is half the point behind me doing the blog because I want to talk about the awesome stuff I've read. If I absolutely had to pick one and just one, I would actually probably pick Phoenix-Born Rising by The Voice in the Water. It's got some amazing world building in it. It's beautifully written. It's something I just keep going back to and rereading, despite the fact that it's more than 300,000 words long. But I could easily praise something like Unchanging Love, Unseen Unheard, The Price of Salt, Time, The Choices We Make, Luna's Daughters, the Twin Canterlot series. So there are some, as I kind of said before, there are so many amazing pieces of work in this fandom that I love talking about and I love reading them.
Nice. Number 4, by Scampy. What's your favorite euphemism for boobs? Yeah, I had a brain seizure for a second there.
Well, at least you got tied up on euphemism instead of boobs. That's...
If he just saw boobs, was like, oh! Hold on.
Can't. I mean, to be fair,
I gotta regain my composure.
every day for me too. I mean,
I
I've
can understand
seen
that.
them.
Yeah.
I've seen them, and I
Yeah.
still get brain seizures
No,
every day.
my brain was going to pronounce euphemism as Ethiopia because the E in the.
What the actual
What the
shit
actual
fuck?
fuck?
In what actual?
That's
And in what
why
actual
I
world?
because I was like, hold on, that doesn't seem right.
Oh,
Read the
God.
question.
Returning to number 4 by Scampy. Mine is Sweater Puppy, so you're not allowed to pick that. I call dibs.
I mean, that's a good one.
Sweater
Yeah.
Puppies is pretty good.
Honestly, I'm just partial to just the simple classic tits. It's it's snappy, it's fast, it's easy, it goes well with anything. Gotta go with the classics there.
I agree. There's sort of a hierarchy. If it's like actual writing I'm being serious about, it depends on the tone. It's either breasts, boobs, or tits, depending on how crass I'm trying to be. But if I'm trying to actually be funny about something or evoke another particular image, I have a bit of fun with it. I'm partial to Devil's Dumplings.
Titties is one of my favorite. You got to put the D's in there. Titties.
Titties, yes, titties is a great one too, with the D's.
I'm gonna be
The double
real.
diesel.
I'm not big on the recent trend of booba.
Booba's
was a
for
shit-
funny. Booba's only for funny. There is no
like
seriousness
only-
with Booba.
Yeah, it's only like meme tier stuff, really.
Yeah. At least I hope it is shit. God.
I've heard some people unironically say booba.
Damn, that sucks.
That makes
Just
me
man
sad.
up. Own up to it and just call them chesticles then.
I love
Number
chesticles. I
5.
genuinely do. Chesticles is great.
Chestisticles.
Chesticles. Yeah, the famous philosopher on breasts, Chesticles.
Number 5 by Scampy. I can't think of any more questions right now, so what's a question you want someone to ask? Please pretend I asked you this question.
Beautiful.
I would probably ask myself a question about all the kind of weird little references I slip into the stories, because I do a lot of them, and almost none of them get noticed because they're either extremely deep cuts or just blink and you'll miss it references.
Know the
For
feeling,
example,
bro. Know the feeling.
the latest one I did for the Jingle Miss Breezy story I did for Rainbow Dash Spirit of Hearthwarming versus the Grand Council of Holidays. There's a secondary character who's a Wendigo named Mariah. And I've been wanting to name a Wendigo that for years because it's a reference to the 1951 Broadway musical and 1969 film Paint Your Wagon, which features a song called They Call the Wind Mariah. Nobody gets the reference, but it made me smile the whole time I was writing because I knew a little stupid joke.
That's
It's
all
also
that
a
matters,
reference to
really.
the fact that Mariah Carey is currently defrosting and a Wendigo is always cold.
Yeah?
Interestingly, she was actually named for that song. So again, the deep cuts.
I love it. I love the little, like, when you put in little things that you think are just for you, and then occasionally you get someone put in a comment like, I know this reference. It's just the greatest feeling.
Oh yeah, no. There was one of the songs. One of the stories I did was basically a direct lift from an old story. Hold on, let me pull up it. By Leslie Finch.
Nice.
Again, it was one of those ones where it's like I was sitting there going, "Oh, I'm just gonna do this one, put it up there, and no one's gonna get it." And the comments were, it was some kind of hero, and I was like, no one will get this, and the comments are absolutely packed with people going, oh, I know that song, and I'm like, really? This is obscure filk from back in the 70s. How do people know this?
Nice.
Just go to the next question. Jesus.
Scorpy by number 6. I know I said I was out of questions, but I totally lied. Who or what do I have to sacrifice to the old gods for? Milo seen to Yosemite Sam to see the light of day. I am willing to burn cities to the ground and make this happen.
So the story she's referring to is a piece that I've been working on for like 2.5 years. It is my return to doing a big a big Sunset Wallflower ship epic. She has been begging me to finish it up for a long time, and I just keep not making progress on it. And unfortunately, I would love to tell her what she would need to sacrifice, but I don't even know myself. It's Calliope does what Calliope wants, so
I'm beginning to get the impression that Scampy is a fan of wallflower sunset things.
I get the impression that she dresses up as Wallflower in conventions.
Nah.
nah. We'd remember that.
Who is that mysterious superhero known as Wallflower?
Speaking of superheroes, Altruist Artist is up next. Flam, do you want these?
Sure, I'll take that.
Go for it.
So, starts off with congrats, TCC, and number 1. Any topics, themes, concepts you'd like to see explored in more ponyfic? Unless, of course, you're wanting to keep those ideas to yourself for your own work.
Well, first of all, I have more ideas than I could ever possibly use. Again, 30 pages worth of just small 2-sentence prompts. So, but honestly, I can't really think of any. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. There's so many fics between what we're up to, more than 150,000. It touches pretty much everything I could think of. And there's stories. If you push me to it, I would say I would love to see. Here's a list of incomplete stuff that I would love to see finished and finally fleshed out, but not a lot like individual topics that I would like to see that haven't already been hit.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. I mean, other than going extremely obscure, pretty much every major thing I'd say has probably been at least touched upon tangentially, so it could always use personal refinement, though. But, yeah. Number 2. Relatedly, did your recent endeavor into collecting data on the frequency of character tag use inspire any story ideas for some of these underutilized characters?
So what Altruist is talking about is that I occasionally, like maybe twice a year, I'll just do a quick blog where I go into some deep dives about weird little things about trends for characters and all that. The most recent one was taking the information from the Time Action Glory Challenge, which is a group that I'm part of, which basically tracks the numbers of stories for character tags historically. And I took all of the data that we've collected over the course of the last 5 years and put it all into a single spreadsheet with graphs and all that, so we can see which characters are more popular, which ones are growing faster, which ones are kind of plateaued, that sort of thing.
As a data analyst by trade, this is my fucking definition of a good night.
You would honestly probably be horrified by how bad my methodologies are, but I'm just compiling the data that a couple of us have just been compiling over time. So, but yeah, so to answer the actual question, I was already trying to come up with ideas for those underutilized characters because of this group that I'm part of. So the data didn't really prompt me to do anything directly. That said, I've already jotted down 2 new pitches for Cranky Doodle Donkey and Argyle Starshine this month, and I'm actively working on a story with Tiberius in it. So yes and no.
Okay. Well, I'm sure beyond story ideas, you probably glean some other interesting insights out of that. Hopefully it wasn't 5 years for nothing to just say, yeah, no, this is exactly what I expected. Sweet.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of information that was in there. So, but again, long time. Actually, also I was wrong. It was almost 7 years worth of data. My bad.
Jesus. At a very high level, then, I'm curious, what is one interesting thing you gleaned from the data that you were actually genuinely surprised in?
Well, so one of the interesting aspects is that full characters, the Cutie Crusaders and the et cetera, they are actually were very, very popular in the beginning. And you can see that because when we started tracking in July of 2017, a lot of them had some very high numbers, but they've had almost zero growth since then. They're very, very flat as a result. So for some reason, they were super popular at the beginning of the fandom and then plateaued and basically have relatively little popularity now. You can see that in characters like Dinky Hooves and Rumble, who have huge numbers, but they're only pulling in maybe like 10 or 20 stories a year now. So there's basically only two full characters who have significant growth past 2017. That's Flurry Heart and Button Mash.
That honestly, I would say lines up a bit. At least I'm surprised with the Crusaders because they're sort of a main character, but the others that kind of came in or were like community named for the most part were like Bud Mash. Did Bud Mash actually get a full? Were they like actually like canonically named that?
He appeared in the show, but he was not named.
Right, he was one of those. I just want to confirm that they didn't
Yeah, I believe
actually
so,
do
yeah.
that to us, which
But
that
yeah,
would
no,
make sense. Then.
For perspective, so the Crusaders, if you look at back when we started tracking things in 2017, the Crusaders were actually had more stories. The Crusaders actually had more stories than most of the main.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
Yeah, but since that, oh, damn it. But since then, they've actually fallen because when they started out, they had more stories than Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, Applejack, and Rarity.
Mm.
But nowadays, the rest of the main six have passed them since then because while the Crusaders had a lot to begin with, they've been completely flat since.
So they act like they're like fad characters in a way. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, like I
Never
said,
would've
interesting
thought.
stuff. It's unique and not something I would have predicted.
Exactly, hence why I asked. So, no, sweet, thanks for that. Moving on to number 3 then. Favorite story you've written so far? And conversely, do you have a least favorite, or at least one you'd significantly alter or rewrite given the opportunity?
Well, I kind of answered the favored one already, so I'm going to go with the second half of that one. And there is one specific story that I have as a least favorite, and that's actually my Jingle Miss Breezy story from last year, which was a Mirror Me, My Mirror. I loved the idea; it was a good one to start out with. But the problem is that when I did the outline, it was like 10 to 12K, and I just ran out of time. So I just kind of threw what I had together into something, and a lot of the actual good parts happened off screen. Honestly, it ended up as being kind of garbage, and I kind of ashamed afterwards that I've actually gifted this to somebody. So at least once a month, I sit down there and go, I should go back and rewrite this and actually do the full story properly. But thinking I want to do something, actually doing it, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I feel. I know I said I would. I said to some people I'd rewrite some of my older works, and I promptly never did. So.
It's a ton of work, especially if it's something that at one point you felt like you just generally had closure on, and be like, yeah, I did the best I could at the time for it, and it doesn't feel like you need to readdress that storyline. It can be difficult to find the motivation to go back and be like, oh, I need to do this better.
It's actually what I did in a way. It's just like, well, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for these shittier stories anyway. So, but in a way, I did kind of rewrite one. It was more like I said I wanted to rewrite Metroid Equus because I don't know how people stayed for that shit. But then I just decided, why would I? But then as I was starting on the first chapter, I'm like, wait, why am I doing this when I can just make a better story? And so I did. And so I did. And I think the current one being written right now is despite it not being complete and having like, a third of the ratio that the original had just simply by, population alone, I personally think it's the better story. Other people may disagree, but they can fight me on that. So, but anyway.
Also, we're writers. Broken promises and missed deadlines is part of who we are. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Indeed. And one thing I'll say to the readers and anyone listening to this stuff, and if you have some promises broken by a writer close to your heart, one thing you need to know is that as the authors, no one hates us more than we do. So there's nothing you could possibly do to us to make us feel worse than we already do about our own work anyway. So,
very true.
Come at us, bro.
They can unsub on Patreon.
There you go. Or just
Next
unsubscribe
question.
from.
Go on.
Yeah.
Shit.
Shut the fuck up.
Look, I'd rather be miserable and have money than be miserable and no money.
There you go. Number 4. Do you enjoy listening to music while writing? And if so, what are your favorite genres and artists?
So I actually write in almost complete silence to cut down on distractions. And I say almost mostly because when I'm writing, I am also constantly talking to myself.
Yes.
I like verbalizing the passages that I'm working on, both to bring them out of my mind into reality, and it helps me make speech cadences sound more natural and flow a bit better. Because what looks good on a page isn't always how people actually talk. So I kind of verbalize a lot of what I'm doing. Uh, though to answer the second half, my genres are all over the place. My two biggest bands historically actually are probably Weird Al Yankovic and Rush. But I also listen regularly to a
Nice.
variety of EDM, folk, and a lot of heavy metal too, depending on what my mood is.
Yo.
That's fair. At least when I write, it's either complete silence or it's strictly like almost ambient and like non-lyrical music. So things like that could easily be considered background music. My favorite artist for that would be Adrian von Ziegler. So he's excellent for Celtic and like runic
Hmm.
type of background music, and that's just been with me for 7+ years. So highly recommend if you need any of that. But otherwise, yeah, complete silence is honestly just soothing. I like it too. So I agree.
I listen to ASMRs of dates going into awkward directions.
That is
Yeah.
certainly a choice.
Let's mosey
Alrighty.
on along.
Indeed, and finally from them we've got number 5. In your own words, why is Sunset Shimmer so amazing?
So I have a very big soft spot for reformed antagonists. I mean, my favorite characters to write are basically Sunset, Trixie, Wallflower, Tempest, and Discord. So ex villains make up most of the stuff that I enjoy going for. I also like because she's got a great personality combination of being both hyper competent and having massive flaws. And it's always fun to have somebody who is right at the top of their game and really intelligent and great at everything, and having them completely get dumpstered by something. And that's always a great story beat to play with, which I just love. Also, I will go back to the very first question and remind you of my love of Samus Aran, and I just have a thing for tough women with a red gold color scheme.
As great as any, honestly, as great of a reason as any. And you know what? Yeah, I'll take that too.
How does she have an apartment, though? How does she have a job? How does she roll in school?
It's magic, bro.
She was a whore. Anyway.
That's also one speculation.
That's viable.
It is very viable. And that ends those lines of questions. Pass it back to you, Priest.
All right, we're going to B Bunny, who got that cute Twilight going on. Let's go. Number 1, what are future goals you want to accomplish?
Well, I've talked about that in some of the quarterly blogs I've done. My current goal was actually a fairly long-term one, where I wanted to reach 100 stories, and I wanted to get at least half that have been hitting the feature box. I've already hit the feature box one because I've already had over 50. I hit that back in July, so that part's guaranteed. So it's largely just getting to the 100 stories produced. If I've got my timing right on the current publishing schedule I've got, I should hit story number 100 should be published on exactly my 6-year anniversary of being on the site.
Yay!
Beyond that, my only other big goal is actually to finish my current ongoing First Hoof account, because that'll be my first 100,000 word story, and I can say finally that I've done a proper long fic.
That's some great goals. Number 2, what's your motivation for writing?
So the folks who know me know that I've talked in the past about how I am tortured by the muse Calliope, the classical Greek muse of stories and epic poetry, and that's honestly true. I've always been a creative sort. I need to have an outlet to create into. I can't not create things. So for me, it's I will regularly get up at weird hours of the night or stop in the middle of doing chores because I've had a flash of inspiration and I need to write something what I've got down before it disappears out of my mind. So I have to create. If I wasn't creating here, I would be somewhere else doing much the same thing because I need to write things. I need to make stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Number 3. Do you believe that you'll still be part of this fandom in the next few years?
Honestly, probably. I don't. I've got plenty of ideas to still write. I've still got people who are wanting to read it. I've got plenty of friends that keep me tied down to the area. So I really have no reason to say. I mean, eventually I will float on. Every story has an end. But honestly, yeah, I don't see like I'm going anywhere anytime soon.
Good. That's very exciting to hear. Number 4. How often do you spend time on an idea, chapter, or a story?
Wildly variable. Sometimes it just flows, and I can demolish a 5,000 word story in under an hour because just the idea is there and it just spills out. And sometimes there are some stories where I will come in, write a single sentence of dialogue down, and then not pick it up for the rest of the day or even a couple of days. So it just depends on what my inspiration says. I enforce a publishing schedule on myself to try and get some structure to things, but honestly, it's all just inspiration based. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
No, that's totally fair, and it definitely depends on the story. Who are some of your biggest supporters?
Well, I do know a lot of people. They're basically everyone I talk to at least tries the supporter is at least marginally out there to help. I would say that actually there's a couple of specific folks like Eileen says hi, or a daughter guy, or Sleepless Beholder, Scampy, folks like that who do their best to encourage me and keep me going. And they'll occasionally do things like proofread and or help me bounce ideas off of them. Honestly, I could name Dewdrops in the Grass as another one for just just a whole bunch of people who I communicate with and say, hey, what does this look like? Great, let's go. But there's also things like when Jingle Bits comes around, there's a whole crew of people there that are more than happy to help things along and are always encouraging. It's really I would have a hard time picking out specific people, though. Actually, I will correct. I actually do owe a little bit specifically to I Am Sinner, because when I was hovering for the longest time with one of my story with the most likes. I was hovering at 996, like 996, 997. I
Yeah.
kept getting one vote and then losing one. And I hovered there for like 3 months. And I finally just said it in anger one day, saying, God damn it, I wish they would finally get there. And Sinner actually turned around and posted a blog asking for help to get me over the thousand mark, and it did so. So I owe Sinner a little bit of a thanks just for that. If even if I mention no one else, Sinner gets my special thanks for that. So
Hey, as somebody who's married, you should mention your significant other as your biggest supporter. Just saying.
she tolerates me doing this. So
That makes her a great supporter. Just saying.
yeah, she's a great supporter because she hasn't talked to all of my friends yet and say, hey, guess what he's writing?
Yep, best supporter. That is your best supporter right there.
That's fair. We do know some people whose significant others did not approach this in a healthy way. So it's awesome. It's awesome to have that.
No, she basically sat down with me and said, she's fine with it. The only rule she had is no, don't start writing porn. And I said, that's fine. I wasn't doing that anyway.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Number 6. B Bunny finishes with saying, don't stop what you're doing and continue to grind. Heart.
That's an easy one. I was going to do that anyway.
Dreams of Ponies is up next. The most important question. What is the most superior of toppings on pizza?
Oh, I default to a good heavy pizza. Pepperoni and sausage, throw any other form of dead animal on there, and I'm pretty happy.
Yay, dead animals.
Okay, but cheese. You need to have some cheese on pizza, right?
Yes,
right?
Of course.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, please, come on. No, cheese is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cheese is one of those taken for granted toppings where it's like if it's pizza, it probably already has cheese, but that
Oh yeah,
said,
no,
extra cheese is probably a favorite topping.
Absolutely. Look,
Yeah, no,
extra cheese. It's how it is. Oh, you
you know,
speak.
there's got to be cheese on there, otherwise, but that's not a goddamn pizza.
Yeah.
Now, before I hand it off to Pencil, we did have one question from the chat that I'm not sure if we got to. Ori Neko asked, "Is a non-Philly cute?"
So I will be upfront. I am not a fan of Anon at all. He does not do anything to me. But if I have to pick one, a non-Philly is a better choice for me.
That's fair.
So I will say yes.
No, that's fair.
A questioning yes is fair.
All right, Anon Pencil, it's all you.
Okay, I'm ready. What would you whisper into a vagina?
Honestly, I don't think I would be able to resist just going echo.
And what would it whisper back?
Well, obviously it would go echo in return because that's how that works.
Bees?
Bees.
How many bees?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
These are the correct answers. Genuine question. What is harder to write? A slow planning multi-chapter story or one carefully crafted one-shot on a time limit?
Oh, definitely the multi-chapter story because, and I'm confronting this problem right now with the long one that I'm doing, is the fact that I know exactly what all the big story beats are, and I'm so enthusiastic about going out and doing them, and I'm looking at going, I have 6 chapters to go before I get to the part I want to write. And that just...
Are you surviving or is it slowly destroying your sense of self?
Oh no, I'm just writing the chapters a year in advance of what's going to be there, and then going back and rewriting them 5 times along the way because I go, wait, no, I've got a better idea with this.
Oh yeah, you torture yourself. That's not just like, oh, I've planned this out and I'm going to fix it and tweak it. No, you are participating in masochism, my friend.
No, I'm a writer, so
I mean, yeah, you sit down at your keyboard and open a vein. It's what we do. And now, for the first time in a long, long time, you guys, it's time for questions with Pylon.
Yes.
Priest, this is where you read Vylon's question.
Oh, I thought you were gonna take it. But
No,
okay.
I just do the
Well, let's
intro.
go. How are you today?
I'm not too bad. I'm cold, but it's Saturday, so I got to mostly stay in and not deal with the cold, so I'm good with that.
Yay! Stay inside from the cold.
Yeah, no. I got to snow blow everything out yesterday. I'm good for today. I ain't messing with that.
You know, I've ran into people now that don't know what snow blowing is, and they thought it was a very sexual act.
I mean, it can be. That is a term, Priest.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm sure that it's been used at some point. I mean,
Absolutely.
fucking Zoomers.
I mean, it's. I know what the term is. You guys,
Yeah.
do you want me to know?
Well,
Do you know what?
Yes, I do
I
actually.
thought the word.
I know the real thing and the sex thing.
Yeah, I thought the other word was snowballing.
No, snowballing is where you spit someone's own cum at them after they come in your mouth. Everyone is
Correct.
silent.
He is
Like
correct.
it's like it's
No.
weird that I knew this.
No.
No,
I was expected that you know this.
no, for me, it's just yes, that is objectively correct. I have nothing to add to this.
Yes.
No, like that's that's snowballing.
Yes.
Correct.
If you do it directly into their open mouth, then it's snowblowing.
Oh. Okay. So I thought snowballing was directly into the open mouth. Okay. All right. I get it.
Well, snowballing you can spit it anywhere from what I understand, but there's a lot of overlap.
Gotcha.
Every snow blow is a snowball, but not every snowball is a snowblow.
And what is a snow job?
Stop. That's called having to wake up at 4 in the morning to go plow streets.
Like
Yeah,
I think
actually,
the big difference here is like if you have someone else's cum in your mouth and you make out with them, I think that's still snowballing. If you're like spitting it into their open mouth, then it's snowblowing.
All right.
thank you, Socrates.
Empty plot fillers up next, who's with 5 questions. So let's go to number 1. I was gonna try and make you a gift art for one of your stories, but I totally forgot to do it. So if my stroke brain started working again, what would be a good story pick to do?
And now we're getting to the ones I didn't see before we started, so I don't have prepared answers for them. Honestly, I don't know. As I've mentioned before, I love almost all of my stories and I enjoy them. I also kind of have a personal rule where I don't ask for things for like with one exception that I did, I don't go out asking for reviews. I don't promote myself in various groups. I want people to be enthused about my stuff because they enjoy that thing. I don't think I would ask for gift art for one of my stories. I want to say, no,
Mhm.
just pick one you think is cool and I'll be more than happy, whatever it is. So I'm just happy to see people enjoying things.
Plus, when an artist or a writer gets to say, "Oh, pick your favorite," then we get to analyze which one you actually do pick.
Yeah, that ain't happening. I cannot pick a favorite. I might be able to cut it down to like a top 5 if I really tried.
Number 2. Are the rumors true?
Every single one of them, even the ones that are contradictory.
Whoa. That's fair. Number 3, for a more serious question, what was an important element to one of your stories you've written in the past that you think none of your readers, or not enough of them, recognized or gave enough importance to, but was important to you?
That's a tough one. If I was going to say an element that I think was important that got missed, I would actually have to note that a lot of the chapter titles I use are very carefully chosen for a reason. Like one of the ones like if I like one recently in first of account, I just had somebody pick out and say, wait a second, hold on, all of the chapter titles are supposed to have the word first in front of the word and suddenly they have meaning. Or there's the story that I did that was actually my RCL story, Glow in the Dark, Shine in the Sun, where every one of the chapter titles actually tells you who the main character for that story is, because it's actually a line that character sang during a song they had during this at some point during the show.
Mm.
It's little quirks like that where if I've got chapter titles, I've chosen them very specifically and they usually give very specific clues about what happens during that chapter.
Right.
And not a lot of folks notice that.
No, I think that's really fair. And there's definitely authors out there that are trying to do like the Fallout Boy song name approach to naming chapter titles, or good old chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. But when
And I've
there's been
absolutely done that, yeah.
yeah. But when you've actually put a lot of thought into it, and like the name of your chapter is basically like the name of a poem, where the poem is the chapter. Yeah, I think that metaphor works. No, it doesn't work. Anyway, I think it's more meaningful, and it does add a bit to the piece. Next question is, if you had to pick a canon non-villain character from any of the MLP series and write them from any part of the series, deviating with a new plot into becoming a villain. I feel like my head just exploded there. I'm sorry. Let me redo that. If you had to pick a canon non-villain character, thumbs up, from any MLP series, thumbs up, and write them from any part of the series deviating with a new plot into becoming a villain, okay, who would it be, and what would their reason for turning be?
Okay, so this is one if I had known about this one in advance, I probably would be able to give a much better answer because I know full well I've got like at least 10 of those sitting in my ideas archive for that. But off the top of my head, I would actually probably go with Applejack because one, you don't see her go evil very often. You see a lot of Dash going evil, you see a lot of Rarity going evil, you see a ton of Twilight going evil. Nobody expects the background pony to start killing folks. So I would probably go with that just for the unexpected nature of it. Also, reversing standards, et cetera, et cetera. And honestly, to be pretty easy, I mean, dedication to the family can easily be corrupted into going way off the rails. So
Dedication to the family, but also like I'm not gonna be like Rarity works hard. Don't get me wrong, as a dress worker, and it's very clear though sometimes like when her hair is completely messed up that like she pulled several all nighters in a row in order to complete something. But like Applejack puts in a ton of physical labor and just works her butt off all the time.
yeah, dim apple bucking thighs.
Yo, yes. So I could see like the exhaustion of being like no one wants to work anymore. Bonus modifier: unwillful corruption to evil or mind control isn't an option. Oh hey, did that, nailed it.
Yep, did that. No, cool.
Number 5. What question wasn't asked that you're still ready and most excited to answer? Go.
Wait, I think Scampy already asked that one. So, yeah, not sure.
So let me, you know what? I'm going to ask you a question that could or may not be hard to answer. What is your ultimate goal? When you think of I have nailed it, I have succeeded in everything I want to do with fan fiction, what is your ultimate goal, your ultimate success you're aiming for with writing?
Oh, I don't have one. I very bluntly, I don't have an end point in things. Which again, it's my end point is eventually I'll get bored and move on. That's how it is.
Mhm.
But until then, nah, I keep setting goals for myself and yeah, keep pushing for it. There's always something new to try or a new idea I want to put forward. So I don't have an end point. Nothing planned, at least.
I love it. Genuinely love it. Do it while it's fun. Mugany's up next. What do you do when you're no longer confident in your writing, but you still want to keep going?
I'm confident in my writing.
Oh,
No, seriously though. I mean, if you go back and you look at my blog stories, if you go back to the very beginning, there's me just sitting there going, "Okay, wait, no, I'm people like this. I'm popular. I'm good. What the hell is this shit?"
mm-hmm.
I mean, and
One
I still
important word. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, go finish up.
Just one important word: bravado.
Yeah, no, I as far as I'm concerned, yeah, sure. Even looking at things, I'm going, yeah, no, I'm reasonably popular now, but I can't. I know full well I can't hold a candle to some of the real titans in this fandom. I'm solid. I can say that with confidence that I've reached the point where I can admit that I'm solid, but I'm not good. I'm not on the level a lot of folks are. So I'm always not confident with my writing. I'm always looking at things going, this could be better. Am I happy with it? Yeah. Happy enough to post it? Yeah. But again, that's why I have a publishing schedule that I hold myself to, because at a certain point I have to say, okay, I got to publish this now, even if I'm not fully happy with it, because I'm never going to be 100% happy. I'm going to be looking at it going, this could be better. I could improve this. I don't like this section. I want to improve this. So, yeah. I mean, I'm never really confident. I just keep going because I got to do it at some point.
Yeah. And then going to the last post in the thread, we've got Shakespearecles, who says, "What is the best chapter title you've ever made?" I'll go first. Breakfast Epiphanies. Oh my gosh, the pun is so good.
Yeah. Also, be sure to
Yeah, it's good.
refresh, Priest.
I have refreshed.
Yes.
Hold on. I have to go look at my stories for a second, really quickly, to see what I see what it is.
I believe in you. I will scroll up and see if there's any that I have missed by chance for today. But I think we're on the last post. Yes.
Mhm,
This is
mhm.
this is your chance, everyone. If you had any other questions you wanted to get in, be sure to get them in the chat or to post them in the thread because we will begin wrapping up after these questions.
Last chance, guys. Come on.
Are these messages?
I think if I was going to pick one, it would actually, if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to go with one of my Jinglemas stories from 2020, Mistletoe Guidance for Dummies, in which I was, in which is the chapter title is The Mistletoe Knows Where It Is at All Times. This is because it knows where it isn't.
Beautiful
And again,
meme.
we go to
One of my
the
favorites.
dumb references.
I love it. Number 2. A curse has swapped the minds of your wife and mother into each other's bodies. The only way to... Oh my god,
Oh
of
no!
course it's incest.
No!
The
It's
only-
shakes, guys. Guys,
Of course,
it's
it's shakes.
It's shakes.
Who else but Shakes?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
The only way to
Yep.
reverse the curse is to have sex with one of them. Who do you choose and why? Show your math.
I think at that situation, they're not getting reversed because they would kick my ass.
That's fair. I have a scuzzy answer, but I'm not going to give it because we're on the internet. So
Also, this would involve, me, Priest, if you gave a scuzzy answer. Keep that in mind.
I didn't know you were his mother.
Number 3.
I'm so
Wiping.
mad. I'm so mad. I don't even have anything witty. I'm just so mad because I know Shakes is in the chat going, "Oh yeah!" Like the moment he heard you say that. So
That was a fucking knee slapper. God damn.
Yep. He loved it. He loved it. I was right.
Number 3. Wiping, sitting, or standing.
Standing. I ain't sticking my hand down in there.
Okay. We need to have a talk, son.
What, you guys wipe?
Okay. Oh, fucking Jesus Christ!
You guys believe in wiping? Amateurs.
You better fucking know I'm kidding, but there you
Yeah!
go.
Well, I mean in
Okay.
context. I've been showing a play recently.
Oh my god.
That was great.
So
Holy shit.
the biggest thing that I've noticed recently in the standing to wipe argument is to get the very top of the butt crack.
Just lean forward more, forehead. It's that simple.
Can't you just stick out your butt more and then just work from there?
It's great. There have been occasional times I've had to stand, but those are very few and far in between.
There's a risk, depending on the toilet, to wiping when sitting, that you may accidentally get your hand in the icky juice.
Those
That's
are
why
very
you
rare
use the
toilets, but yes.
That's why you use the seashells.
Shut the
The
fuck
3
up.
seashells, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, the 3, obviously.
Oh yeah. It'll never work with 2.
No. No, you need the third. It's for balance.
Mhm.
Well, that is the last question we got in the thread. I'm hitting reload.
No, it's
Make
not.
Sure. Oh, yep.
No.
Oh.
And New challenger approaches.
You know,
Oh,
I think I also
beautiful.
have a question after the one in the chat.
Okay, we got
And
the
we
one
have-
in the
yeah,
chat.
we have a question in the
got
chat
one
as
in
well.
the thread. So then, you know what? I will do this one because I can tell this what Alex wants. And
Break it
then
out.
I'll hand it to you, Enigma, to take care of the chat question and your question. Sound fair?
Okay, so the one in behind the counter, right?
Yes! Alex
Okay.
underscore's question is, have you accepted Skeletor, the master of the universe, into your heart?
No, but if you
Oh.
punch hard enough, you can get there.
Yay.
It's been a while since we've heard the Skeletor question, so good times, good times.
Well, here's a question from Ori Neko. Wake up as your OC in Equestria. What do?
Be very confused because I actually do not have an OC, which caused problems when setting up this interview because I was asked, "So, what does your OC look like for the cover art?" And my response was, "I don't have one."
Well, I'm sure in that scenario, you wake up to a create a character page.
Oh yeah, then I'm doomed. I'm never getting past that thing. I am exactly one of those people who will sit there for an hour playing with every single slider.
I feel that.
Just hit randomize and go. But my question is, now you said earlier that your wife does not want you drawing clock, but if you had to, what would you draw? What would you write one about?
Oh no, I've agreed with her. I'm not going to, but I will fully admit that my ideas archive does have a bunch of stuff in there that I could do that way if I felt like it,
Mm-hmm.
because ideas don't care. Honestly, Sombra's hot. I'd probably do something with that.
Yep. That's
It's
that's a clip.
tall, dark buff. I mean, dude, I'm not into that, but at the same time, if I was gonna, I'd be good with that.
No, that's a whole thing. That is definitely a whole thing, and that's why some people are like, sometimes Ganon looks
Exactly.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So the typical wrap-up questions that we're moving into. So let's say we reach 5 years down the line and someone catches this video because you're big, hip, and popular, and they go, "Oh no, I wasn't here for this momentous occasion." What is the best way that I could reach out to TCC and ask my awesome question?
I honestly don't know, because odds are I will probably still be around in some form at the very least, because I have a reading list that is a million words long. But honestly, I'm going to be floating around out there somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to go to next after all of this, or
Mhm.
when, but I guarantee you I will be in some fandom out there somewhere.
Mhm.
Worst case, honestly, I'm also an old City of Heroes player, so I will probably be sitting around the now totally legal server there somewhere.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that MMO was still up.
It wasn't in that's a very long story that involves the phrase, "So someone stole the source code from the company when they shut it down."
Oh,
And
good.
then the company just decided, fuck it, anyone can do it. So it sort of came back.
Also, the do they have the ability to send you messages on FimFic?
Oh yeah, no, I always love hearing from folks.
Yay! There you go.
The one asterisk I'll put on there is, and this does come up sometimes, is I do not do commissions. My grandfather gave me a wonderful piece of advice of never turn your hobby into a job. So I do not I will happily take suggestions, I will take ideas, but I do not take commissions. So
Fair enough. So
Do you accept trades? I give you money, you give me story.
see, that doesn't quite work for me.
got him. No commissions, which is a very respectful decision because goodness knows I can't do them well. So, well, with that said, I want to deeply thank Empty Plot Filler for donating 2,000 bits today, as well as Reviews Notes, Sergeant Tin Man for donating 5 subs, as well as an anonymous donor for donating 5 subs. Your guys' support does so much to help us for charity and make us look like a legitimate business. And next week, be sure to join in as we are going to do a big modded session of Lethal Company. Still more details on that to come, as well as the mod list if you guys would like to join us. We're going to probably limit it to Patreons, and try, if it's only a 6-player lobby, we're going to try and get the full 6 of us in. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Some of us haven't even played Lethal Company before, so it should be good.
Yeah.
That said, thank you all for listening. Your bartenders for this evening have been Anon Pencil, Enigmatic Otaku,
No one explained to me what peeing feels like.
Flammenwerfer,
Metroid Fusion was still better than Dread.
TCC56,
I want to object to that, but I can't because he's right.
Not by a lot, but it is.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I agree. Dread was pretty good, but okay, no, hold on. Let's not debate this now. No.
and I've never finished a Samus game. Bye, everybody.
I will kill you.
That's so upsetting. Oh my god, that's so upsetting.
Be mad.